This is Matt for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined by Robert Garcia. Robert, it's very rare we get to come over here and speak to the likes of yourself, so I appreciate your time. How you feeling? How you been?
I'm feeling good, ready for tonight. We got some good fights coming up tonight, and staying busy with so many dates with my fighters. We have a big stable, so we stay busy.
You've got a fighter out tonight, Giovani Santillan. I'm trying to pronounce his name right. 30 fights, 30 victories, 16 KOs. Very talented welterweight. How pleased are you with his progression so far? Obviously got a lot of fights under his belt. Are you pleased at where he's at?
I think I'm very happy with where he's at. I think his management team and Top Rank should push him to the next level already. He's ready for it. He's already has 30 fights, so he's ready to be pushed. Hopefully after this fight, they give him something big because he already deserves it, and he's ready for it.
Are you looking at maybe a former world title challenger or somebody of that ilk who's maybe just on the cusp of them world level shots to maybe give him a test, something that his ability deserves, rather than maybe the fighters who you've got a strong feeling he will win against, kind of thing?
That's exactly what I'm trying to do with him, because I can't say, he wants. I want him to fight for the world title next, because the titles are already taken, and there's two big names, Crawford and Spence, that are going to fight each other, and they might do 2 or 3 fights against each other. So we're not asking for a world title, because we know it's not a possibility right now at this moment. But anybody in the top 10, any of the big names, he is ready for. I know that world title is not going to come right now, but any big fight, I know he's ready for.
Well, let's just stick on the welterweight division for a minute now and just clear it up next week. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, everyone's been talking about this for as long as I've been in boxing anyway, like 6-7 years, constantly gone on about it. It's a throwback fight. We're finally here. They're talking. There hasn't been much bad blood in the build-up. It's just a case of this fight sells itself. How excited are you to see the fight, number one? And number two, how do you see it going?
Man, it's probably one of the most talked about fights in the last few years. It's going to be such a great fight. Maybe not the biggest when it comes to exactly, because there's bigger names that might make more noise to the regular people in the world. But in boxing, for boxing people, this is one of the biggest. I am very excited. I think it's such a close fight, 50-50 fight, that it's hard to pick a winner. I do lean towards Crawford, but honestly, I don't even know why. I just maybe because I know him a little bit better. We've gone through many years since the amateurs, knowing each other. Maybe that's the reason. That maybe it's because I want him to win, not because I have a reason why he's going to win. It's a 50-50 fight.
I think all the predictions I get, you could tell me that Spence is going to win by knockout, Spence is going to win by points, and vice versa for Crawford. And I really can't argue either way, because there's an argument for both. Do you look at Spence and say, because of everything that's happened in his career in terms of the retina, the car accident, does that maybe give him a slight, I don't want to say slight disadvantage on the edge to Crawford, but could that play a factor, you think, in this, or will it not matter?
Well, we could always think that, and that's a good case to say, but he's doing good against Danny Garcia or Ugas, so it's one of those things where, yeah, we could use that as a kind of an excuse, but then we go to his performances and he fights well. So I don't think that'll be a case. I think it's just going to be one of those great fights that we enjoy, and hopefully we get to see 2 or 3. Hopefully they do it back to back, because they're also 35, 33, so they don't have much time left. I think they should do it quick.
Well, let's talk about one of your other fighters. Bam Rodriguez is going against the UK zone in Sonny Edwards. How excited are you for this fight? Sonny's been calling for big fights for many years. I spoke to Bam in Vegas, I believe, it was a trilogy for the Canelo fight. He was on the undercard of that, and he was saying, look, I'm willing to fight Sonny. Maybe we do it next year. The fight's on. How do you see this fight playing out? You're not going to give anything away, but you obviously strongly favour your man in Bam Rodriguez.
Well, you know what? It's a great fight, especially at those weight classes. We don't get big fights. We don't get a lot of attention from the boxing world, or just.
You should.
it should. But I'm glad, I know it will be big in the UK, here in the States. Bam had some great wins, so he put his name out there. So I think the fight's going to be pretty big. People are excited. I'm excited because I like the fact that Sonny is talking, and he that's his character, and it's fun. It's fun to listen, and it also motivates us more to even work out harder just to go out there and prove him wrong. It's gonna be a great fight. It's one of those fights that that's gonna be full of action. I know Sonny's a great boxer, good speed, but I think Bam is also a great talented fighter with so many things in his favor also. So it's going to be one of those fights that people are going to enjoy.
Bam's achieved such a lot in such a short space of time, I feel, and Sonny likewise, world champion. Feel like he's been avoided quite a bit of Sonny, but in terms of Bam, do you feel he has to maybe go out there and stop Sonny Edwards to try and break him up and break him off his rhythm in there? Because Sonny, once he gets into that flow, it's hard to stop. Is that how you see this going? It breaks him down and tries to stop him?
Well, it'll be nice, for some, but it won't, I don't think it's gonna be that easy because Sonny works very well in his boxing skills, his speed. So I think that's gonna be his game plan, obviously. So we can't think we're gonna go out there and try to put a beating on him and stop him late. We got to be smart. We got to take our time also and be ready to go out 12 rounds because it's not an easy fight. So we can't think, we're gonna go out there and put a beating on them and stop them in the late rounds because that'd be ridiculous for us to think like that. We got to be very well prepared. We got to be physically ready for 12 rounds because it's a fight that will probably end up going the distance.
Looking at the main event this Saturday, George Kambosos going against the UK's Maxi Hughes. Terrific fight. I think Maxi comes into this as a little bit of an unknown for people on this side of the pond, but a terrific fighter. Have you seen much of Maxi, and how do you see this main event going?
I have no idea. Honestly, I'm here because one of my fighters. I had no idea who. I had no idea who Kambosos was gonna fight. Honestly, so now I know why you guys are here. So you know what? Hey, but it's great. That's good because we just like we have guys that go to the UK to get some fights and get some opportunities, and sometimes we get the upset win and we come back, as heroes. Same thing in this case right now, with your fighter. If he comes and pulls out the upset, he goes back home as a hero. That's what boxing needs. Fighters to take those challenges, fighters to take those fights where it's a risk going to your opponent's, maybe not hometown, but where his promoter and everything's in his favor. You taking that risk and pulling off the fight, pulling off the win, will be great for him. So I just hope to see a great fight. I'm here for my fighter, honestly, but yeah, it is going to be a great fight.
It should be a terrific main event. I want to ask you about Canelo Alvarez. Bit of a surprise, the Charlo that took the fight on, but we're seeing it. Jermell Charlo, terrific fighter, stepping up a couple of weight classes to take on pound for pound in Canelo. Break that fight down for me a little bit if you can, Robert, because Canelo's at that stage now where you're hearing people go, look, he's maybe not the same as a couple of fights before. Are you of that opinion, and how do you see this fight playing out, and what chance do you give Jermell in this fight? It's a great fight.
Hey, man, I agree with a lot of people. Most of the people are already saying that Canelo hasn't shown his best performances in his last couple of fights. So maybe we do feel that Canelo's not the same anymore. And Charlo's a big boy. Even though he's moving up 2 divisions, he's huge. He's big. He's taller than Canelo. So Canelo was a super welterweight at one time. So it's not a total mismatch when it comes to the size. Even though it's a 2-weight division, but Canelo was at that weight class a few years ago. So he just built his body up to become a super middleweight, but his height and everything is not. He doesn't have a big advantage there. So it's gonna be a good fight. I think Charlo is very talented, very fast, good skills, decent power. So the fight I think it's gonna be a good fight. I still pick Canelo. Canelo maybe more experienced, maybe a little more comfortable at the weight class. But it'll be a good fight. I think it's good for Canelo's career to take this type of fight, especially now that he signed a 3-fight deal with PBC. I think that's what he needed.
There's a lot of danger fights for Canelo now when you look at the PBC roster as well. They're talking of Benavidez. I know they want to see that fight. You got David Morrell lurking in the wings and wanting these fights as well. Benavidez is sort of the one who everyone's saying they want Canelo to fight. Do you think we see that fight?
I don't think we're going to see those fights.
Why not?
You know what? I think Canelo is at a point where he calls the shots and he decides who he wants to fight. And Benavidez, I think Canelo has come up publicly saying, I don't like the fact that he's just opening his mouth and talking too much, so I won't give him that opportunity. And I think that's going to be Canelo's decision. Canelo's not afraid to fight him, but I think Canelo also has that. He's got the power to do that, to choose who he fights. I don't think he'll fight Benavidez. He'll probably rather fight Morrell, but I don't see him fighting Benavidez, and that's the only reason. Because Canelo could win the fight. I think it's a tough fight. I think it's a tough for Canelo, and I might even lean towards Benavidez at this point, at this stage of Canelo's career. But it could go either way. I don't see that fight happening. I don't think Canelo will fight Benavidez. I think Canelo will fight both Charlos, and maybe at the end Morrell or somebody, maybe even Spence. If Spence beats Crawford convincingly and then he goes to 54 and beats him again, then it's a fight that could happen, because Spence will become a superstar, huge name, especially if he beats Crawford twice in a row. Then it would be huge.
Is this for pound number one, this fight, Spence-Crawford? Whoever wins that fight, are they number one best fighter in the world in your opinion?
100%. I think right now either one could be 1 and 2. 1 and 2 between each other. I think their skills, their talent, is better than anybody else at this time in boxing. So yes, definitely, whoever wins is number one. I think right now, depending on who you ask, Spence could be number 1 and Crawford number 2, or vice versa. So the winner should be number 1 pound for pound.
Right, I've got to ask you. You used to work with Anthony Joshua. He's going to be fighting Dillian Whyte. First question would be, are you disappointed in the way that relationship ended? And what do you make of him fighting Dillian in a preparation for a Deontay Wilder, who is apparently signed for Saudi Arabia back end of this year?
Not at all. Not disappointed, because I have a lot of work. I'm staying really busy. I'm actually happy for Anthony and choosing a great trainer, man. Can't go wrong with with Derek James. He's the trainer at this moment, and I'm sure Derek James is bringing out the best of Anthony Joshua. I always said Anthony Joshua has great power, great skills. He just needed somebody to bring it out in him, and I think Derek James is a great guy to do it. He's the perfect man right now at this moment. So I'm happy, for the decision he made. I continue working. I'm busy. I have so many fights, and I'm excited that he also came to the States, because that's something that I actually advised him and his whole team. Do camps in the States. Obviously I would have loved it to be with me in California, but he decided to go with Derek James. Can't get any better than that, man. Derek James is a trainer right now, the trainer of the moment. He's trainer of the year, so can't go wrong with that. Can't hate on that.
What do you make of the fight? Obviously, Dillian Whyte, they both fought Jermaine Franklin last, and everyone sort of said the same. They both didn't look the usual selves. But this fight is crucial for Joshua, because if he loses to Dillian Whyte, it's difficult to see what the route is. But touch wood, if he did beat him, Deontay Wilder waits. What do you make of that fight? Now you're not involved directly, I suppose, with Anthony. What do you make of an Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder fight? How it would play out, the styles coming together? That is a tremendous fight for heavyweight boxing.
It's a huge fight, and Anthony Joshua should come out with the win. In his next fight next month. A fight with Wilder would be one of those fights where I never felt Wilder's power, but I'm pretty sure he hits hard. But so does Anthony. People might think that Wilder has insane power, where he's going to be much stronger or hits harder than Anthony. And I don't know. I've never felt Wilder's power, but I have felt Anthony. Anthony has great power, unbelievable power. So I think it's one of those fights where whoever lands first, whoever is wants it more. Whoever wants it more is going to be the winner. It's a fight that I would love to see, even though I have no part of the fight and I'm not working with Anthony. It's a fight that I would love to watch, because those two heavyweight, just with that insane power, it's going to be it could end in 1 round. It could go out 12, where it becomes a great fight. I think the heavyweight division needs that fight.
Okay, Robert. Well, look, I appreciate you giving us some of your time. I know it's a big night for you and your boy, and wish you all the best. Thanks for talking to Boxing Social. We'll catch up after the fight.
Thank you, definitely.